one thing I'll say very briefly about Tyche's setting Polydeacon for All Saints is that it actually was composed as a gift some time ago for our very own executive board member, Dr. Vicky Pappas, who then introduced it to the use of the Orthodox parish here in Bloomington, All Saints Orthodox Church, which has used it for many, many years. So thank you, Tyche. That's been a wonderful gift for this community. Our next composer who I would like to introduce is Matthew Arndt. Matthew is assistant professor of music theory at the University of Iowa's School of Music. He did doctoral work at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He also did master's work in composition at the University of Colorado at Boulder, where he studied with Richard Tensing, who we will hear from a little later this evening. And he will have something to say to us this evening about the repertoire from the Caucasus, the repertoire from Georgia. So please join me in welcoming Matthew Arndt.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you to the St. John of Damascus Society for giving me this opportunity. So, who am I in this whole affair? I came to Orthodoxy relatively recently when I began at the University of Iowa in 2009 and began attending St. Raphael Orthodox Church there in Iowa City, and I came to become acquainted with Byzantine tradition, Russian tradition of music, but also Georgian, because we've got a bunch of Georgians there at Iowa City. And so I came to really love Georgian music. And so when this opportunity rolled around for me to be part of this project, I thought that the best way that I could provide a unique and important contribution would be to represent Georgian tradition insofar as I am able. So a little bit about Georgian music. So Georgian music has its own brand of sacred polyphony and folk polyphony as well, going back to the 9th century, and it flourished for many centuries. Started to decline in the 19th century when Georgia was under the Russians. And then towards the tail end of the 19th century, people started saying, hey, look, we've got to preserve this before it is snuffed out. So some people transcribed many of the chants. And then, wouldn't you know it, the communists came in and really destroyed the tradition. And I was just speaking with my friend Taki Zess here about this, and he asked, well, did it go underground at that point? And yes, in fact, it literally went under the ground for some time. A large majority of the transcriptions of this tradition was put in a metal tube and buried in the ground to preserve it from destruction. So it was then not attended to very much for the next few decades, but then starting in the late 80s, it has made a bit of a revival, and there have been publications, scores, and recordings, and I have been trying to soak up those as much as I can, and so I've come across, for example, a piece that you're going to hear just now, which was transcribed and arranged for mixed chorus by Aria Palashvili in 1911, and then recently was arranged back for men's chorus, the way that it was in the first place, by a Jared Brewer. So I'd like to invite Christopher Grundy and his singers up here, who will have a listen. This is the Trisagian